What is up, guys? Dan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel, and this one is a big video because I'm going to teach you guys how to get safety outside thirds in the 4-3 even 6-1.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
This is one of the biggest reasons a lot of players tend to stay away from the 4-3 even 6-1. Don't get me wrong, it is a great defense, arguably the best internal shed defense in the game for putting your opponents on a passing timer. But from a coverage standpoint, it does leave a little bit to be desired because it struggles with sideline coverage, and a lot of players just run Mabel, which opens up the deep middle of the field. So this video is going to help you roll your coverage, give you guys more options behind the 4-3 even 6-1 sheddy defense, and I know you guys are going to love it. Now, this tip is sponsored by my strategy website, GridironGameplans.gg, and every time I have something major over on the website, I want to make sure it goes to my customers on the website. They do a lot to support me and what I do for a living, but I want to let you guys know that just in the vault today, I am dropping the most important offensive line, defensive line content you will find anywhere in the Madden tips space. I'm talking nearly an hour of breakdowns on exactly why and how offensive players and defensive players win and lose on the defensive line and offensive line. Long have you heard pro players say,
all the offensive linemen are the same.
I could not disagree more. In fact, I would say that the randomness that they see is something that is easily explained in this vault update, and a lot of players are kind of on the right path, but they don't fully understand exactly what's occurring. I'm going to make it so your pass rush is the best you could possibly have in the game, and I'm going to make it so your offensive line doesn't get shed either. I can assure you. Head over to GridironGameplans.gg. You can unlock well over 180 vault tips in the vault section alone, 9 offensive and defensive game plans in members only Discord access for just $9.95 a month. We also have lab sessions every week inside the Discord, where if you have questions about the game, I'm there to answer them for you. Now into the video. So you're here for the 4-3 even 6-1 and its ability to shed, but you struggle to cover with it because you don't get those safety outside third adjustments. You click onto your safety and all they have is deep half, inside third, curl flat, hook curl, inside quarter, quarterback spy, man coverage, blitz. You get it. It's the standard 2 safety alignments. Now, the saving grace of the formation is that you can basically come up here and crash your defensive line down and basically let your guys shed through the middle. And you see right there's a Nano Detect.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
But basically this is a gap defense that, you know, just brings pressure through the middle. You guys have faced it all year long. It's really actually quite difficult to block it, but it is blockable. And it's actually quite a pain to consistently block. But the saving grace is that it lacks in the coverage.
Wow, that is really hard.
That is until right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys exactly what we're going to do to get 3 lurk artists in the 4-3 even 6-1, and maybe even a little bit more than that.
Let's rock.
And we're going to be able to have safety outside third adjustments. Now, the playbook we are in is the New England Patriots defensive playbook. This is the only playbook in the game that can do the trick I'm going to tell you, and it happens to be the only playbook in the game that has Tampa 2 as a stock coverage that you can call, which is really nice because a lot of players, you know, have to hot route 1,000 players to call Tampa 2. We're gonna have this as an audible. So for this particular video, what I'd recommend is actually, this is quite good for a set of audibles. You got yourself your heavy blitz, you got yourself a man under, you got yourself quarters, and you got yourself Tampa 2. You guys can go ahead and turn match on if you want to run your quarters match. You can turn it off and run zone drop profile if you want to. It's totally up to you. Now, the formation that we're gonna use to make this possible is actually the 3-4 even. And the 3-4 even is going to be a defense that has a package that's going to unlock 3 safety rule adjustments. So by flicking the right analog stick, you're gonna see that it brings up the strong safety at linebacker package. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break huddle here, and I'm gonna show you that it does give you safety outside thirds. If I click onto Peppers, you see the adjustments are outside third left and right, deep halves left and right. It's exactly what we're looking for, but it's not the 4-3 even 6-1. So what do we need to do here? So here is how this works. When you guys are going to run this package to get your 4-3 even 6-1 to have outside third adjustments, you are going to want to actually, before you flip to that package, you're going to make sure that you put in a total of 4 defensive linemen. They need to be defensive ends and defensive tackles. So what I am going to do here is I'm going to go over to this position, which is an outside linebacker. I'm going to put in Bakhtiari. He's a defensive end. If you have other defensive ends, feel free to do whatever you want. Now, these 2 positions right here are your defensive tackles. I've got Jalen Carter. I've got DeForest Buckner. they're fine. Leave them alone. If you have other D tackles you want, feel free to sub them in as well. Right here is a defensive end. You want to make sure that you have another defensive end. It could be a left end, it could be a right end. It has to be a defensive end. You can't sub in an outside linebacker, okay? Has to be a D end. So I'm going to leave this player alone, Hutchinson. Now, these three positions here, when we utilize this package of the safety and linebacker package, it sources your right outside linebacker number 1 to start at this position, okay? So this position on your actual depth chart will need to be a lurk artist linebacker. This position right here is your middle linebacker. He'll obviously be a lurk artist linebacker as well. This position right here is your left outside linebacker. It can be a lurk artist. As long as you have 3 linebackers in these spots, all with the lurk artist ability, you will be able to then set up your coverage behind this however you want. So for me, I'm gonna put Julius Peppers or Deron Bland out there with my KO ability. I'll go ahead and put another KO ability with Evans here. I'll go ahead and put Randy Moss with a lurk artist here, and maybe we have Julius Peppers. Effectively, what we have done is we have created 4 linemen. So we've got Bakhtiari, Hutchinson, Carter, and then we have another D tackle, Perry, as our 4 down linemen. Then we have 3 linebackers, our middle linebacker, outside linebacker, and then this third player is an outside linebacker. There's your 3. So now you've got your 4-3. And then on the back end, you have 4 coverage players. So now your 3-4 even with this package active is technically a 4-3 even package in terms of the personnel that you've inserted into it. So now when we break the huddle, we are going to immediately audible into the 4-3 even 6-1. And lo and behold, we now have the ability to transfer over our outside third adjustments. So if I wanted to run a cover 3 rotation in which I roll my coverage this way, you absolutely can do that, okay? The one weakness of this setup is that our defensive end that we subbed in is now an outside linebacker. And our lurk artist linebacker that we subbed in is now the defensive end. I've got a fix for that, okay? If you want to avoid this issue, all you're gonna do rather than manually subbing the way I did is at the beginning of the game when it starts, you are gonna make sure that your right defensive end is actually your right outside linebacker number 1. So I'll put Bakhtiari. We'll basically start whoever we want. So it doesn't really matter. We'll start whoever we want at the right end. We'll start our true right end as right outside linebacker number 1, so that when we do the package, Bakhtiari is actually the off-ball linebacker that will then sub down to the defensive end when we audible. And then everyone else is your lurk artist. That way, when you actually break the huddle and make the audible, your off-ball linebacker, that is technically your middle linebacker, but it's really now your right outside linebacker, as I mentioned, will run down to the defensive end position, and everyone else will shift accordingly into the linebacker roles. But that's just a minor detail. Obviously, a lot of you will say that is a killer, so make sure you guys do that depth chart trick. I wanted to include that a little bit into the middle of the video because those of you that are rocking with me and go through all these videos, you guys pick up on the nuance that I drop in these videos, and I want to give more to you guys that are supporting the videos here on the channel, because you guys are the ones that push this channel forward. So if you guys are still here rocking with me, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit that notification bell, and also drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this tip. There is one more thing I need to show you though. So as I mentioned, this 3-4 even package, when you guys come out in the strong safety and linebacker package, even if you have a linebacker subbed at this position, the game still considers this a safety, okay? So with this particular adjustment, you'll notice that he's got the outside thirds. That's still quite cool. It does limit a little bit your ability to run Mabel coverage, but that is something we'll talk about here in a second. But as you might imagine, how cool would it be to be able to run like a coverage rotation in which you have your safeties basically closing center field and the right deep sideline, and then this particular linebacker is playing an outside third. You know, you've got maybe some players in the game. Josh Allen, for instance, his X factor is a deep KO ability. If you get 1 interception, he has that the rest of the game. Now you've got a lurk artist linebacker here that you can kind of just pull back in coverage and lurk the field with. Again, this one player might be a nuisance, so do the depth chart trick that I just broke down a minute ago. But this is a really, really cool thing that you guys can, you know, kind of adapt with here. And then the other thing is quite great about this is that you guys have the ability to audible into like quarters. So if you guys need your Mabel coverage, you guys can audible in the quarters and still play your double Mabel over the top, just like you see right here. And then of course, if you want to, you always have the ability to play a Mabel and take gambles. Maybe you don't want a deep zone, but you want thirds in the middle and thirds to the outside on the right. Maybe you want the vice versa, where you want to rotate it this way. Maybe you want to play hybrid coverage and man people up. That's always something that you can do. Also, you have the ability, if you want to with this, to have this player play a mid read. How unique is that, to be able to say, you know what, I want my backside outside linebacker to play the middle read zone. You know, if there's a dig or a flat post that's breaking the middle of the field from the backside, that's always a great zone to be able to go with that. And then of course you can always go ahead and, you know, run your fan out coverage, and then you can always drop deep in the middle. There's a lot that you can do with this, okay? I'm not saying that this has to be a base defense for you guys. You guys can by all means come out in your traditional 4-3 even 6-1. If you're playing someone that's dotting you up and they're, you know, moving the ball with ease against the standard adjustments, now you have this on deck as a backup plan to audible into. Go ahead and fuse this particular package with the standard 4-3 even 6-1. I assure you it's going to improve your coverage. I hope it does anyways. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I hope you guys liked today's video. We'll see you guys a little bit later this afternoon with our next video upload. Until then, this is Ann. Get in the lab and good luck.